Hello guys. Today, we're gonna talk about the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I saw this with Corey, and yeah, we're gonna talk about this movie, first Quentin Tarantino movie I've seen in theaters. I haven't seen any of his works before. Now, credited, he's only done 10 movies. Of course, Quentin Tarantino himself has been involved in many other movies, but in terms of like his movies, like his complete movies, there's like 10 of them. There's gonna be 10. This is the ninth. They're gonna do one more. He's gonna do one more and he's done. So this is kind of special. So we're gonna talk a little bit about it. First, let's start with some of the basic info on it. It aired this year, 2019. It's rated R. Don't take kids to a Quentin Tarantino movie. You all should know this. The movie's 2 hour and 41 minutes long. It's a long movie. It's I think it's correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's his longest movie in all honesty. And and it has an 8.4 out of 10 on IMDb with about a 50,000 user votes. That could change because it's a newer movie, and it has 84% on Metacritic, about 60 critics. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, who was in Inception and a cajillion other things, and Brad Pitt, who was in what and Moneyball and a gajillion other things too. The movie was directed by Quentin Tarantino, who we all know from lots of great movies. We'll just name Pulp Fiction as one. On Rotten Tomatoes, the movie has 80. The movie is certified fresh with 85%, with about 394 critics and 70% by audiences, with about 28,000 ish audience people. The critics' consensus on Rotten Tomatoes is that thrillingly unrestrained yet solidly crafted, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood tempers Tarantino's provocative impulses with the clarity of a mature filmmaker's vision. Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue there's not really anything wrong with the movie except for, in all honesty, this is probably, in my opinion, this is him at his most restrained. Because a lot of his movies that I've seen, I haven't seen movies, believe it or not, but I've seen a good chunk of them. But they all delve into some sort of action. Now, I see the movie. I'm sorry. Excuse me. The movie that reminds me of his the most, like a movie he's done like this, is It kind of reminds me of Pulp Fiction now I think about it, because Pulp Fiction was very dialogue driven like this movie. But what separates the two movies though is the storytelling style. And that's what makes this a different movie. And that's and the thing about this movie is that there's so much going on with all these different characters. So mainly three. You got Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio's characters, and Margaret Robbie's in it too. She plays Sharon Tate. I will say this: the movie itself has a lot of the scenes in this movie are very well done scenes. It's a great movie, but the biggest thing with the movie, because me and Corey, we were kind of puzzled because it was like we loved the movie and it was a good movie, but compared to other Quentin Tarantino's other works that we both seen, it just felt a little different. Something felt different in that movie, and I personally, let's talk about some of the basic ingredients. First is acting. Acting's fantastic, and in all honesty, there's a few scenes in this that feel more kind of because there's something where there's actually a kid in this, and one of the main leads develops a great relationship with this kid. Kind of, there's kind of an innocence to it that I am not familiar with in Tarantino movies at all. So it's kind of interesting to see him go to that innocent level. because he hasn't really done that before, as far as I've seen, at least. Um, and yeah, but acting's great in this movie. Acting is a. Oh, I'm sorry. Ooh, I had a big day. Uh, acting isn't the issue. Direction isn't. Script. The script. Dialogue is fine. There's nothing wrong with the dialogue. The script. I think there's there's nothing wrong with this movie except for maybe I have read that, and 70% makes sense because me and Corey, at least me, going into the movie, I was expecting something very action driven. And there's action in this movie, but it's kind of more of a build up. Now, Tarantino has used build up, build ups tons of times in his movies. But and in all honesty, before watching this movie, it's been a long time since I watched a Quentin Tarantino movie. So I'm maybe a little unfamiliar with it, but the movie that's it just clicked in my head. The movie is a lot more slower paced than a lot of his other movies. The pace is much slower, and it gives you a chance to watch the movie. The movie, in my opinion, is a love song to that time period in Hollywood, the 60s, the late 60s, early 70s, that kind of era. And the characters in there themselves are a product of that era. Some characters are fictionalized, some characters aren't. And but all the characters represented that time in Hollywood that and even that period in and itself was dying because old Hollywood from the 40s and 50s was dying out, making way for the Hollywood. Because 60s, in real life, the 60s, Hollywood in the 60s was not the best of place. They weren't making as many movies. TV was rising hardcore, and a lot of the people they were banking on to make stuff just weren't doing it anymore. And that's why, I know this is a side note, but that's why in the 70s, we saw such a rise in independent films and saw so many independent films because there was a desire but a need. There was a void that needed to be filled. And Hollywood recognized that. And that's why you see so many directors from back then, like Martin Scorsese, John Carpenter, Steven Spielberg. You had all these independent directors given free reign because Hollywood had no other choice. They needed to. They needed these young guys because without them they would be done because there was nobody else. And that's how that happened. And this movie kind of captures that very well. Um, I think that's the biggest thing. There's so many scenes in this movie that you're left to just marvel at. The detail in all the scenes is phenomenal. I mean, probably the best Quentin Tarantino, he I he has done movies from different time periods before, but this one just felt like he really went in. And I remember reading some trivia, and he said that this was like, I think the script is probably his most. He, I can't. I'm paraphrasing, of course. The script is something that is very personal to him, and I believe it. I mean, this is definitely a tribute to that era. Now, there's action. The climax is freaking it's a nasty climax. And I mean nasty is like shit happens to these people that's just like, whoa, this is nasty shit, nasty, violent shit. And it's just like, it's awesome. but but it is. And there's been some build up to it. And it's weird because the movie when it gets to the last third, I'm kind of wondering, all right, what's this movie heading to? Because it got to a point where like, okay, where is this going? Because the movie starts off very divided up between a few characters and them going through a day. Then there's some time jumps, and then it's weird. I didn't quite know what to make. I think that's one thing I will say is that I don't know if the narrative flows as well as it could have. And I hate saying that with Quentin Tarantino because he's a master at narratives. But Tarantino has this art to him, this specific art that I haven't seen any other director ace so well. He does, and it's basically he can take these scenes that don't mean shit to the movie, that you can cut them out and they don't affect the plot at all, but they affect something else. No character development. These scenes that don't mean anything to the movie develop the characters so freaking well that they're amazing and necessary, even though they're not. And this movie has that. They use this a lot in this movie. I the other movie, his previous works had multiple different main characters. This one doesn't really have a lot of main characters. It's really three. So we got a lot more focus. I mean, Kill Bill was one main character, but I don't know. Actually, he has done lesser groups of main characters before, but this one feels much more isolating. That's the best way to describe this movie is that each character feels very isolated in their world. They're just kind of left to just kind of wander and absorb and and engage in the world in their own way. And that's he hasn't really done that. And he does it at such a slow, steady pace. And there's a lot of great scenes in it. But I will say, if there's one thing I kind of little bit had an issue with in the movie itself, is that there should have been, I think, is that there's a point in the movie where characters travel to the place and a narrator jumps in and he starts narrating what happens, and it's great from that point to them coming back, and it's well done. But I don't know, once when they come back, I start to feel like, okay, how's this movie gonna end? And then the movie ends, and then and then I thought, oh, is this, are they gonna do this? Are they gonna do that? Then it hit me for a second. That character finally got what he always wanted at that end. And I can't really say anything else without giving away spoilers. But he finally got what he wanted at the end of the movie. And that's the point. The point of it was kind of a happy. It's kind of weird saying happy because that climax is nasty. It's like dirty and violent. It's pretty awesome. Um, but there is kind of a niceness to it because the main characters the main characters kind of get all their resolves, but the movie is an epic. It is an epic movie, I would say, but not epic in a lot of characters, a lot of action, a lot of speed, but epic in a slower sense, actually. And that's what I didn't expect. I expected a fast, loose guns epic, but it was actually a slowly paced, take a look yonder epic. And I didn't expect that with a movie like this. And I think that's what threw me off a little bit. But I will say the movie, I don't want to say the movie felt long, but here's the thing. If you're having a movie 2 hours and 40 minutes long and it's a slow paced movie, it'll be tough. It'll be tough. Um, but it's a very well done movie. There's a lot of great scenes in it, and there's a lot of it's just a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff. And like I said, that everything in the movie's flawless. There's nothing really bad in it except maybe, and you know what, this is a movie I have to watch again to properly judge. I feel like going off of memory because I watched this a week ago, and the reason why it didn't come out sooner was because it just got busy, and sometimes I need movies to sit with me a little bit before I can form a proper opinion and thought process on it, because some movies just take a bit to set in. But yeah, there's not really. It's I don't know what else to say about it. There's nothing really wrong with it except for maybe it being a movie people weren't expecting in terms of being slower paced, being a slow epic instead of a fast, loose epic. Because I feel like people are coming expecting like typical Quentin Tarantino fast action stuff, but instead they got something a bit different. And the thing is that you should expect that from Tarantino. He always does something different. I mean, each movie he does, he's doing something different in it to a degree. And yeah, and this is a very side note, but I did hear his 10th movie is going to be a horror movie, and it's going to be based on the Manson family, like Charles Manson and all that. Now that will be some fucked up shit there. That kind of shit being covered by Quentin Tarantino. Oh my god. I do want to see that, but that's might be a movie that's gonna ruffle some feathers, I imagine. But this movie's just there's you might see some controversy on a certain scene with certain characters, and it's online. I won't say who in case people don't want are trying to avoid it, but I saw it. In all honesty, they didn't the character the way they portrayed him isn't how he was in real life. But in all honesty, it's a Quentin Tarantino movie. All the characters act that way to a degree. That's just that world. I mean, the two main characters are fictionalized. So you're already taking liberties with real life. So it didn't bother me as much. Because if you go into a Quentin Tarantino movie with some real life characters, do you really honestly expect them to be fully like, what do you call it? Who they were like in real life? Only to an extent, because at the end of the day, it's a movie. It's not a realistic retelling. It's a semi-fictionalized telling of a period of time in Hollywood, and it's done well. And yeah, that's what I have to say about that part of it. But yeah, overall, it's a great movie. It's still in theaters. Check it out. I will warn you, it is a long one. Definitely use the bathroom before. Pace yourself with food and pop. Um, don't bring the kiddies. This is an adult film. This is for mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, aunt and uncle. This is not young adults. This is not a little kids movie. And even then, I still caution you, it is slower pace. It is not fast and heavy. There's a lot of intensity. There's a lot of buildup, and there's a lot of payoff, and there's funny moments, and there's scenes that might make you shed a tear a little bit. But it's not a fast epic. It's a slow epic. And that's what people I don't think would expect from something like this. And it is a love song to that time period. It's done very well. It's just flaw wise. The only flaws I can think of might not be flaws if I watch it again. It's just stuff I noticed when I'm watching it that threw me off a little bit. It might throw some other people off too. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. I didn't really get much notice to stream. I kind of didn't know if I was going to stream tonight or not, but then I decided, you know what, I got time and I'm gonna do it. But yeah, there's not much more I can say. Next movie I might cover, I don't know. I don't know what I might see. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I do want to see that one, but I don't know if I will because Voice is a huge contender. Okay, there's some lag. Okay. Is it better? Corey's watching the thing, so she'll tell me if it's good or not. She helps me moderate to make sure it's all good. All right, it's good. Okay, I'm gonna wrap things up because I'm using my phone for signal because my home Wi-Fi isn't strong enough for streaming. But yeah, probably Good Boys is probably what we'll see. It's a double feature. We might watch two, but I don't know what other one I'll watch. We'll watch. So yeah, that's just something just a heads up. And on super side note, keep an eye out for a channel update coming out soon with me and Mike. But yeah, I'm gonna end things. I'm gonna say it's a great movie. Check it out. It's awesome, Tarantino. This is his best movie. I'll let you guys decide on that. I mean, he's made a lot of great ones. Everyone has their own thoughts on their favorite movie. I will say I can understand people make the case that this is not his best movie just because it is long. A lot of people, I read a lot of people said that a lot of stuff they wish he cut out. But in my opinion, the point of the film was more of just a tribute to that world and time period and the characters in it, more than just another fast action movie, but action drama or whatever. But yeah, yeah. If you want to talk to me more about this kind of stuff, just talk to me in the comments. I love discussing things with other people. And yeah, guys, it's a great movie. Check it out. It's still in theaters. It's a good movie. Another great Tarantino movie. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.